Hey everybody, welcome to Indie Games Level Up. I'm your host, Phil Lubensky. We're in the Mile End district of Montreal, right outside the offices of Spearhead Games, the makers of Tiny Brains. I'm going to talk with them about their esport game, Arena Cyber Evolution. Alright people, here's a little background on the game. Arena Cyber Evolution is not a MOBA, but rather a MOSA, a multiplayer online sports arena. Imagine the character control of League of Legends mixed with the teamwork of a sport like hockey. The game is easy to learn, but challenging to master. It's a physics-based game that relies heavily on good teamwork and skill shots. It's free to play, it's a lot of fun. Alright, that sums it up. Let's go to the interview. Can you give me the elevator pitch for Arena Cyber Evolution?
Ace is a 3 versus 3 competitive game. It's kind of a strange mix between a sports game in the sense that there's a lot of classical sports elements like disc like in hockey, goals and things like that. And a MOBA in the sense that you have unique characters with special powers.
Arena Cyber Evolution is meant to be the future of eSport as we see it. We feel like online competition, it's something that will just gain in popularity and in importance. But so far, like the most popular eSport experience is League of Legends, which is awesome. We are a fan of it. Yeah. But we feel like it has a couple of flaws. If you watch it on a TV and you never played it, you have no freaking clue what's happening. And also, to get the basics of it, it takes 50 hours. What we wanted to do with Ace is to make something that fixes those two issues, something that you can understand instantly what's happening by watching it, and you can start playing it within 5 minutes.
What inspired Arena Cyber Evolution?
So Tiny Brains inspired Arena Cyber Evolution. Okay. Now, but the thing is, we made Tiny Brains, in which the objective was to make the ultimate co-op experience.
Tiny Brains was a 4-player game, cooperative, with physics-based gameplay. And we learned a lot with that on how to create interesting dynamics between different players, how to create synergies and communication between players through their powers.
There was a competitive potential in this formula, and we kind of pushed in the game a mod that is called Tiny Soccer. In Tiny Soccer, everyone has the same abilities, and we decided, okay, what if it was somewhat like League of Legends, and each characters have unique sets of ability, each have unique power, unique properties, and they move at their own speed, they have their own mass, etc. And it became Arena Cyber Evolution.
Well, when I played it, it actually really did feel like I was just playing a sport. I played hockey for 10 years when I was younger, so the experience came back. And I think, at least I feel like it was because of the simple yet precise controls that are implemented in the game.
It's a game that was designed for the mouse and keyboard control scheme, and as the player, you are yourself the athlete.
We wanted a control scheme that felt as natural as possible to the player, but at the same time, it needs to have skill and a lot of precision and depth for it to be competitive.
It's really your skill as a player against the other player's skill as a player that matters, and this is where the magic lies for Ace.
I think it's safe to say that there's the sports demographic in there, and there's also the MOBA demographic. Was it daunting to launch a game that is sort of in between these two different kinds of demographics?
So to do like an online multiplayer game, free to play, that is based on growing a community, it's really just an expertise that we are in the process of developing. We decided to just launch the game and say, whoever wants the game will get a key for free and you can help us develop it. Barely 3 weeks after we started it. The one thing that touched me the most is one of the guy who just wrote, fixing your game would be so freaking easy if you knew what you did. The challenge is not knowing what you have to do, it's doing it. The thing is, you need to not hate those people, because somewhat, if they take the time to make those comments, it actually means that they care. What I say to the community is, don't hate the haters, because haters don't hate you. Haters are just sad lovers. The guys that are following you, you need to consider them as if they were in your design team. You give them tools so they understand really what the project is about and why you work this way. And progressively, they will start becoming meaningful and useful for the project. I would say collective development is the future.
But then it's a matter of interpreting it and trying to figure out, is there a trend, a pattern? At some point, a lot of people were saying ACE is way too slow. What we realized is there wasn't enough feedback when you change direction and things like that. And we did change the speed a bit, but we also changed the way the character looked when they move, and that actually solved the problems.
What happens is when there's something to be done, we just write it on a post-it and we stick it on the screen. The real reason why it's really awesome is that it's a freaking trophy. You can have like a visual representation of the amount of work you've done. No, but to be honest, on Tiny Brains, we did reach the ceiling, the pipes, we put it on the door, it was crazy. AAA Studio are mostly about production, very structured, and it allowed them to create massive games, like huge scope with 1,000 people. And to produce, to make those cathedrals, you need warriors. This is what they have warriors. They have people where they have a plan, they do it, and they are super efficient at doing it. When you want to innovate, you need ninjas. You need guys who are kind of recons. They go with partial instruction and they can discover on the field, take their own decision, bring you, like communicate informally. And this is what is, I feel, the pillar of Spearhead. We know how to create, we know how to innovate, and we know how to develop new types of product. We would not go indie if we didn't like certain level of challenge, and this is what we got.
Thank you so much, Simon,
Merci.
for having me. So for more info, visit www.arenacyberevolution.com.
And also download the game for free on Steam right now.
Indie Games Level Up is produced by Handmade. Handmade creates compelling live action and animation, including video game trailers, commercials, and this web series. To find out more, visit handmadecreative.ca. This episode is sponsored by the Canada Media Fund. Since 2010, they've invested over $50 million in Canadian indie game studios. The Canada Media Fund is proud to help indie games level up, explore innovation and creativity in indie games.